guys ready? Everybody ready? Okay, so we're going to start. So my name is Terry Gibson. I'm running for the New York State Senate, District 41, and I'm here with Melissa Kogan today, who is also running for the New York State Assembly against Joel Miller, and I'm running against Steve Salan, and both of their offices are located here behind us. We've come here today to talk about their votes on the redistricting bill that recently passed. While redistricting is the topic of discussion today, I would like to say that we first have to talk about what it means to be politically courageous when we're talking about the subject of redistricting. When you're judging one's political actions, when you're judging one's political courage, you need to look at all of the actions that they take in the process of making a decision. It's not just about the decision they make, it's about the actions they take in making that decision. In Steve Salan's case, he has a track record for 3 decades of making decisions in this particular style. First, he seeks cover. He seeks cover to find the safest way possible to make his decision. Second, he requires lobbyists to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars supporting him in his campaign before he's willing to make any decision. And last, if there's an opportunity to get a bronze plaque with his name on it placed near the place where he's made that decision, he also prefers that. Anything that he can do that promotes his self-interest, that protects him, that makes it completely safe for him to make a decision is the way that he goes about making his political decisions. That is not a profile in courage, that's a profile in cowardice. When I go to the state senate, I will not be a coward. I will take a stand on issues and do the right thing. I will lobby others on behalf of the things that need to be done. Lobbyists will not have to spend money on me to change my mind. I will not need to get plaques put up to show that I've made the right decision, and I will not seek cover to be safe. If the right thing is there to be done, I will support it and I will do it, and I won't think twice about it. We need senators in Albany that we can depend on. We cannot depend on Steve. In the case of redistricting, he voted against democracy. We send our children overseas to fight and then sometimes die in the name of democracy. Here in Albany, Steve Salan had the choice to support democracy by voting for an independent redistricting bill. A bill that would have allowed the lines in New York State to be drawn in a fair, independent way so that voters could choose who they would like to represent them instead of having the politicians decide for them. That's democracy. Steve Salan voted against democracy and said no to independent redistricting. Not only that, he did it after having first said that he would support it. This is the standard way of Steve Salan's operating during his campaign. He does not take a stand. We don't know what he stands for. We have to wait until the very last minute until people have lobbied him endlessly. That's not the kind of senator I will be. That's not the kind of senator that we need to deal with the important issues facing us today. If you just look at what has happened over the last 3 decades, which is how long Steve Salan has been in office, you'll see that our property taxes have gone sky high, that our unemployment rates have gone sky high, that our education system has plummeted in terms of our graduation rates and our test scores, and our regulations to help protect our environment have been weakened. These are not signs of a senator who's working for the people. These are the things that we need to address. These are the issues that I intend to address. And if you're not addressing these things, then you have to ask yourself, what exactly are you doing? We need a senator who will work for the people, that will solve the issues that are facing us today, and stop making decisions that are purely based on protecting himself and preserving his incumbency. We need independent redistricting. Unfortunately, we did not get it. I am happy with the lines that we have. I will make them work. I'm excited about representing almost all of Dutchess County and 3 new towns in Putnam County. I'm very excited about meeting these new people. I am pledging my oath now that I will do everything I can to represent them and start working for them immediately. We will take this and make it work. It should have been done in a fair way, but since we have no control over it, we have no choice but to move forward with what has been done. I will now turn this over to Melissa Kogan.
Thank you, Terry. I'm Melissa Kogan. I'm a candidate for the 106th new Assembly District voted on by Joel Miller because he knew he wasn't going to have to run in it. And also, Joel Miller will not be the incumbent. There is no incumbent running for office. For all knowledge, I believe it's Stephen Krakauer from the town of Poughkeepsie that will be representing the Republican Party. I have joined with state senatorial candidate today, Terry Gibson, to focus on a problem that isn't going away, a problem that was created by men in Albany, a problem that affects every single resident of New York State, a problem that will plague New York voters for the next 10 years. In 2010, both Assemblyman Miller and Senator Saland joined me in signing a pledge with New York Uprising. New York Uprising was an advocacy group founded by former New York City Mayor Ed Koch. It called for real and meaningful government reform by both legislators and those candidates running for office that year. This pledge, signed by both men, stated that if they were elected again to office, they would only support an independent, nonpartisan redistricting process. Both men were named to a list calling them heroes of reform. Had they not signed the pledge, they would have been put on a heavily publicized list called enemies of reform. Both men have very short memories. If Saland and Miller answered to their constituents before their political bosses, then they would not have hesitated to keep their word and vote against the proposed lines. Instead, they chose partisan redistricting. This undermines the democratic process, and once again, the interests of our legislators come out ahead of the people that they are supposed to be serving. Both Senator Saland and Assemblyman Miller broke a promise. Shouldn't the promise they made be forced to count for something? Thank you.
I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have other questions.